everyone, I'm Claire Gallant, and welcome to episode 1 of Kids in the Kitchen with the Halifax Public Libraries. I'm so excited to be here today with Cash and Polly, and we can't wait to make a couple of recipes with you today. I'm so excited because I run a company called Bite Sized Kitchen, and I teach kids to cook through lessons and workshops and birthday parties, and I cook often at home with my own 2 kids. And so today, we're going to make energy bites and we're going to make blueberry lemon muffins for you. And we're going to make them all, and I can't wait for you to make them with us because then you can share them with your families and be so proud of what you've made. So thanks a lot for joining us today. And we're going to start with the muffins, and the first thing that you do when you're cooking or baking is you get all of your ingredients ready before you start to cook or bake. So that's what I've done here, just to save some time in the video. I've measured everything out so it's all ready to mix. But the first thing you do, even before you start to mix it together, is you prep your pans and the things you're going to cook in if you're baking. Bacon if you're baking. And so Cash and Polly can do this for me. You can help. You can put all the liners in the muffin tins. And we're using these liners. I'll just show. These are called silicone liners, so you can wash them. You can get them at IKEA. But you can use paper liners, or you can rub your muffin tins with butter or oil, just so that the batter doesn't stick when it comes out later on. Do you want to do some of these, Polly? So this makes 12 muffins, and like I said, I've measured all the ingredients, and we're going to put them all together in a minute. So there's dry ingredients and there's wet ingredients, and I'm going to get, after we do this, I'll get a bowl. I'm going to put the 2 last ones in. We all love to cook together in our family. There we go. Perfect. So let's set these aside. I think we're good.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's set these aside because it's ready. So then when our batter's mixed, it can go straight in. That's pretty important. So then we're not wasting time when the batter's ready to go in the oven. Also, I've already preheated the oven over here. And that's a job that you can ask your grown-up who's helping you to do for you. So you just make sure the oven is nice and hot. You want to do that first, actually, before you even fill up your tins. Yep. So let's get cooking.
Yeah.
Dry ingredients first. Let's go for dry ingredients. So Cash is going to add 1.5 cups of flour. You can put all that in, Cash. And Polly is going to add, so this is baking powder and baking soda and salt, and you have your recipe there in front of you. You put all that in right here.
You see it's in a pink container.
Yeah. So I've measured all those out already, but you would measure them separately. That's okay. Spills are fine. Spills are fine because then you can...
That's why you use the tablecloth.
Yep, or you can, and then you can just wipe it up.
Yeah, after you always take it off, and then you see the nice clean table.
That's right.
And don't worry, this is lots of fun.
Let's whisk
you
it
can
up,
do
Cash.
it at home.
Exactly. So we're going to whisk up the dry ingredients
and
together.
If your kids don't want to do it or watch the video, it's
fine.
It's because that's probably just because they're in the middle of playing a video game and they don't want to stop. But once you start doing it or watching us, it's really fun.
Yep. So this is for whole families, and it's really fun to do and watch.
This is wonderful. So Cash is doing the dry ingredients. Paula's going to do the wet ingredients. This is olive oil. 1/2 cup of olive oil can go in, and then we're going to do 1/2 cup or 2/3 of a cup of honey. That's what makes these muffins sweet. So here's the honey. Paul, you can pour in the honey too. And then we're going to mix it all together.
Now the honey goes in.
Yeah, and you can scrape the honey out. Why don't you use this spoon for scraping the extra honey out? And these are blueberry lemon muffins. So what I've done is I've actually taken some of the skin off a lemon. So that's called lemon zest, and this is a sort of fancy grater, but you can use a regular box grater. Just use the tiny little parts of the box grater. And depending on how old you are, this could be something that your parents help you with the grown-ups in the room can help you with.
Except if you, we have a baby sister and her name is
And you need all these ingredients. You always need to have a whisk.
You do. The whisk is good for the dry ingredients and for the wet ingredients, but a wooden spoon works too. So these are things...
so if you don't have them, remember to buy all the ingredients first.
I think you guys have all these ingredients ready to go.
Don't worry.
So I'm also going to use this grater to show you a little bit how to get a lemon skin off. So you see, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take the lemon, rub it carefully on the blades, because these are quite sharp, and then you turn it as you go. So if I do too much in one place, I'll show you. Oops, it's starting to get white. And the white part tastes bitter. Not so nice. You want to give it a sniff? It smells beautifully like lemon. It smells so yummy. So these lemon muffins.
It's okay if your parents say you can't do your like stuff, whatever you're doing, like watch something else, like a cartoon or something, because this helps you learn.
So
you can learn how to cook in the kitchen with kids.
Much better than a cartoon TV show, even though it's still TV time.
So you see that I'm getting almost all of the lemon zest off of this lemon. And you want, in the recipe, I think it says you need 3 or 4 lemons. So you don't have to measure it too carefully, but it's beautiful flavor of lemon. So we're going to use lemon juice and the lemon skin. So I've done that. And now, Polly, all this can go in your bowl. Can you put all that in? You can scrape it in with your fingers if you need to, actually.
Okay,
Here, why don't you just,
this is what it looks like.
Oh, very good. Yeah, thanks, Polly. So we're mixing the oil and the
And now I'm going to pour
honey.
the lemon zest into my bowl.
Yep, you can pull it out with your fingers. It's a little bit sticky, and a little bit oily because it has lemon oil in it. And now, Cash, here's the other, thank you. Cash, the other thing we're going to do is we're going to mix together some sour cream and lemon juice. So, Cash, you can do that. So here's the sour cream, 1/3 of a cup of sour cream. And it's a couple tablespoons of lemon juice.
And
you
it
want
looks like
2
this
small
much.
lemons. Here you go, buddy. Why don't you mix that into your sour cream?
Okay,
And
good. You see it.
now we need to add the eggs, Polly. Can you crack 2 eggs in there?
Yep.
So 2 eggs are in these muffins. Thank
And
you.
don't worry if you get dirty, you can wash your hands after.
Absolutely true. And of course we washed our hands before we started. Look at that. You didn't even get any shell in. Isn't that wonderful? Put that into the compost.
You need a little compost that you can keep on your table. Yeah,
Remember to stick your thumbs in and pull it open.
But
Yeah.
you should if you want to get it fast, so you don't have to run
Where's those
outside.
cloths? Let's get those
and
cloths.
put it in the
I had.
compost.
I can't remember where I put them. Here. Here you go.
We also have a big one under the sink.
Can you mix that together? So we have eggs in here. We have our sour cream and lemon juice, and we have our dry ingredients. Probably we need to mix those eggs together. Thank you.
Here's your cloth.
Mix them all together.
Okay.
And so this is looking great. So what we're going to do is we're going to add the yogurt and a little bit of yogurt and a little bit of the other ingredients into this into the dry bowl. And then after we're going to add this, which is the frozen blueberries. So these muffins are really, really moist because of the oil, because of the eggs, and because of the sour cream. The blueberries are called frozen high bush blueberries. So you can use wild blueberries.
So these are high bush blueberries, and if you only have high bush, it's okay. But these are the ones we're using. They're big and healthy.
Great. So Paula, you pour about half of that in here. Cash, can you whisk while she pours? So now the time to mix the batter. So we're going to mix the batter together. And then we're going to put it in the.
But where can I put this?
Put that down. Yeah. So you notice I've been clearing away some of the dishes as we go. Let's put it all in. And it's nice if you clean your work surface as you work, and then you tidy it all up as you go, and you won't have as much to do when you're finished, which is a nice thing to do. So why don't you scrape out all of those ingredients?
There always have to be. Make sure you get all of this into the bowl with the dry ingredients, and remember. Always get if there's flour on the sides, always scrape it into the yellow mix.
Or if you want, this might be okay. You can pour the dry ingredients into the wet.
I'm doing it with a whisk, but it's maybe easier with a spatula. But it's okay with the whisk.
So it is a good idea to pour the wet into the dry because there's usually more of dry ingredients. Yeah, now it's Polly's turn to have a turn whisking, and I'm just, actually, you know what we're going to do? We're going to use the spatula. Like Cash said, it's an easier job with the spatula, right? Because the batter gets kind of stuck. See how the batter's getting stuck in the whisk? So we're going to change over to the spatula. So you mix that together.
And remember, so your kids don't fight, always let them each have a fair amount of turns.
That's really good advice. So maybe you're making this with your brother and sister.
You don't have to share. In case except if the parents want to.
This looks great. So if you see this batter, it's almost all mixed together. When you're making something like muffins, you don't want to mix it too much because it'll get heavy.
But you can lift the batter up and scrape if there's dry on the bottom, you can scrape that.
Yeah. So Cash, time to add the blueberries. You can pour all the blueberries in.
And even
Beautiful.
if you
There's more left.
Oh, better get that in.
and even if you've not done this before,
Thank you.
you can still practice before the real one.
Remember,
this
there's
is
some sour
just
cream
about
on
ready.
the side, so you should scrape that in, right, Polly?
You always scrape every bit of dry ingredients into the bowl.
And even if there's some wet ingredients that aren't mixed in yet,
This
still
sort
do
of
that
looks
too.
like blueberry ice cream.
Beautiful. So let's
Blueberry.
get it. You know what? We're gonna get it into the muffin tins now. Here we go. So they're all ready to go. So we don't have to wait. And the oven's ready to go too. So this is a great job for you guys to do, for kids to do, because it's pretty straightforward. And basically
And if
all
you-
of this stuff
You can
is
just
great.
get 2
Here you go.
turns and 2 spoons
Yep.
for each of your kids, and then
And
they
it
can,
is a little bit
they
like
don't have to
this.
take turns.
You-
This is a job that they can both do at the same time.
You
Totally.
can fold it like bread.
But this job doesn't really matter how much they do. You don't have to fight over
So
how much they
So
do.
here's Polly and Cash are going to show you. You need both spoons, because then you need to scrape the batter off into the muffin cup. Okay, exactly, just like Polly's doing, and then you use a fair bit more. We're going to fill these up fairly close to the top. Cash, you can get digging in there too.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Right.
So this requires a little bit of reaching, but I think-
Another thing, like, that was bad of me. I shouldn't have forgotten to do it.
So we're
Okay.
almost finished getting all the muffins in the muffin tin, right? So these guys have done a great job, and you see they're almost all full. So we're gonna finish it up. You see I'm getting all of the batter. So a rubber spatula.
And even if your hands are dirty, you can wash them after.
Yes,
Our
absolutely.
hands are dirty, but
It's very important.
even if
because
your hands get dirty, that's totally fine.
you can wash them anytime.
No one's getting on you. Your hands are dirty. No
Okay, so
making fun of people.
we're going to get these, exactly. We're gonna get these in the oven. Now
That's
look,
inappropriate.
they're all full, and we're gonna go to get these in. So this is a job that you can get your adult who's helping you to do, is to put this into the oven. And so I'm just gonna go do that right now.
And
I'm
if
gonna be
your
in
kid-
there for 20 minutes. Okay, so the next recipe we're gonna make is these energy bites. And you can make these while the muffins are baking if you like. And these don't have to be cooked or baked. So as soon as they're rolled out, you can eat them.
And also, energy bites are, there's another name for them called an energy ball. And energy bites are just a different version of, like, a healthier way of giving you energy energy than buying a energy bar at the store.
Absolutely. So Cash, do you want to add this coconut in here to the rolled oats? So we have rolled oats, we have unsweetened coconut. And Polly, why don't you add this ground flaxseed?
And it's totally fine. Like, if you can also make homemade energy bars. They're way better than store bought. If you make, I know like store bought are a bit sweeter, and like I don't know why kids want packaging, but you can make them at home. That's totally fine. It's not like a contest where like balls are better. It's not a contest. You can make whichever one you want.
But maybe you should get your broom
together.
out first to get ready in case you spill.
Yeah, so we
didn't do that, but
we should add some. That's a good idea. Clean up as you go, like I said. So we added some ground flaxseed. Now ground flax, you can buy that. You probably have it there in your ingredients, but for next time you can just get it in the grocery store already ground up. So flaxseed is a little tiny shiny seed, and it makes the energy balls stick together because it's all ground up. And when you add liquid to it, the ground flax gets all nice and sticky. So it means that the balls stick together, which is really
Yep.
nice. And the other thing that makes them sticky and stick together is this, which is peanut butter. So you can use peanut butter or almond butter. You can use sunflower seed butter. You can use any kind of like nut or seed butter.
And it sort of looks like waves when you mix it. That's a bit fun. So
Isn't that beautiful? So Cash, you
And
can add the salt. We're
even
going to add
if
the salt.
and even if that doesn't happen,
add the
don't
salt?
worry. You're gonna learn a lot today, or whichever day you're watching it on. We're making it today.
Polly, can you add the cocoa powder? This is what makes it all chocolatey. And Polly's right. You learn a lot in the kitchen. You learn a lot when you're cooking with your
And
family.
it's really fun. Don't worry, we're going to teach you a lot.
And it's
not
best if you
overload.
have these little cups to put the little stuff in.
These are good. Yep, these are from IKEA too.
And it's only a little bit. Remember, don't put too much.
So that
First,
was two.
you always measure it.
Well, exactly. So like I said, I measured this beforehand. 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. I measured a half a teaspoon of salt. And salt is important in desserts because it actually makes all the other flavors taste better. So it doesn't necessarily make it taste salty, although sometimes salty desserts are tasty.
And even if your
It makes
parents,
everything taste good.
even if your parents say you can't do this right after, that's okay. Don't worry, you're gonna have lots of fun whatever you're doing.
So Polly, you're right. I think that being in the kitchen is one of the most fun things you can do, actually. So we're using about a quarter cup or third of a cup of honey, and Polly's pouring in all the honey in with the peanut butter. So this is the wet ingredients, and I didn't measure this from the jar because it was pretty much exactly the amount we needed left in the jar. Cash, why don't you add the vanilla extract as the third
See,
wet ingredient?
If you have like a big go, we
All
do
that
have
can
one
go
in
in.
the pantry, but we're not talking about pantries. Okay. So,
And also, like,
but we're using this one because it's
you
the
should
right
always
amount.
you should always have a little jar of honey like this, so you don't have to measure it at all.
And you should always
Very
have
useful.
a grown up with you.
Well, that's very true. The whole time you're cooking, you should have a grown-up with
Because
you.
what if the kids don't know and they just like eat the batter or something?
Well, this batter actually you can eat without baking it, right? So when you're using raw eggs, you guys know that when you're using raw eggs in the batter,
So
like for the
now we're
muffins,
gonna mix it.
exactly.
You can't eat it. You shouldn't. Well, you could. You're able to, but like it's not good for your body if you eat raw eggs.
That's exactly right. So that's really important. So the other batter we can't really eat, but actually,
You see,
Polly,
this
this
is
one you
sort
kind
of
of can.
tough. It's
Good
harder
work, though.
than it looks.
Yeah, harder than it looks. So the peanut butter's a bit stiff, but that's okay. We'll get it all mixed
Because
together.
it has peanuts in it. See,
Yeah.
this is what it looks like now.
Yeah, and you know what? Do you want to give Cash a turn with the mixing? You can take turns. And, you know, this is a little bit of
Here,
water for our
here.
fingers when we're rolling it out because it's quite sticky. And
But it smells good.
we're going to, we're going to mix the wet and the dry together, and then we might need a little bit of extra water to bring it together. So I have a couple tablespoons of water here that we might need, so we'll wait and see what it looks like.
And another thing that remember, like Polly just sprayed a bit of water on my head. That's okay, but like
Yeah.
you don't remember. Make sure not to fling your hands around while you're cooking.
Yeah,
because
'cause-
that sometimes
And it's
happens.
just water so you can wipe that on your clothes.
So,
If you want your clothes to be wet, they might not be wet. Okay.
So one of the things in the kitchen, which we're talking about, and we talk about a lot, is using all of your senses to guide you and to help you cook. So we're going to mix these two things together, and if it's too dry, we will add a little bit of water. And if it's too wet, which is unlikely, because I've made this recipe before, it usually is not too wet. If it's too wet, you might add a little bit more oats.
And
You
this
might
is
have
the
thought,
water.
no, that's the water. Yeah, that's the water for the fingers to roll them out. This
yeah.
is the water here, Kashi, for adding it if we need it. So you always have to pay attention. Even you follow the recipe and you get a grown up to help you,
Can I
and
have
then
some
you
water?
always have to pay attention to what you're doing and to your food. And smelling is of course a big part too. So we can smell the vanilla. It's
Yep,
important
that
to
smells good. It smells like sweet peanut butter.
exactly. 'Cause we
Well,
just
peanut
mix.
butter is always sweet.
If you don't have these little cups, you can always buy them at IKEA.
Yeah, or you can use, and you can even use just kind of little plastic cups or glass cups that you have that you use for milk or water.
And if you didn't know this, do you know peanut butter
They
has
sell the-
sugar in it?
Because they sell these.
Well,
They do sell these at IKEA.
some peanut butter does have sugar in it. This peanut butter we got today is just peanuts, but then we added some honey to make it nice
Yeah,
and sweet.
well, it does sort of have sugar because peanuts have natural sugar.
Oh, yeah, do they? Maybe I should look that up. Polly's always asking very interesting questions, and then afterwards you can go and
Sometimes she's
look
even
up the answers.
telling you stuff that you don't know.
Sometimes that happens.
Like
That's
what
right.
she just did.
And
Because
we're in French schools, to let you know we're not talking about schools.
we're not talking about schools very much because nobody's in school, right?
Yep.
So this is why you can do really fun activities like this and cook with your family and for your family. Because there's a lot to learn in these kinds of things. You learn about measuring, you learn about paying attention, and you learn about focusing, and sometimes it's patience because you have to wait
And
for things to
sometimes
be
if
baked.
it's too tough, this is a bit tough, but I sort of need mommy's help. But and that's okay.
Yeah.
If you spray some, and so like maybe your parents could help you sometime, or if you have a brother or sister or parents.
So Polly is 6 years old, and
Well,
Cash is
everyone has parents.
Cash is 7.5. Polly is 6 years old, and Cash is 7.5, and so they're being really, really helpful here in the kitchen. You know what? I think this looks a little bit dry, and we'll probably need a little bit of water. So if you see, it's dry, a little bit dry on the edge. So maybe I would pour half of that in, Polly. That's good.
Now let's try.
Yeah, so let's, and in a minute we can use our hands and get our hands all in there. And
Not in here, in here.
In here. We're going to squeeze it all together.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, so you see this batter.
There.
You see it? And I use rolled oats today, but you can use quick oats too. And it would come together a little bit more easily, I think. Cash, let's add a little bit more water. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's good, I think. Whoopsie, I just knocked some on the floor. But like Polly always says, it's okay, we can clean it up later.
Yep.
Let's get our hands in, okay?
And that's why you should always get your broom ready for.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, your broom could be very useful. What do you think? So
first
Cash, let's get rolling.
Like, we don't have our broom ready, but that's an idea you could do.
So before we start rolling them, Polly started to roll, but you know what? First thing we're going to do is make sure the batter's all mixed together. So this is where we get our hands in the batter and make sure that do you see, you want it to be a nice big thick cookie batter like that.
And if you
Let's
think
just
you
make
don't need wet, it's not just for fun. You need it to make the balls stick together.
Yep. The peanut butter and the honey help you too. Polly did a beautiful job. Look at that beautiful energy bite. Yeah. So this is great. So the batter's a good texture now. So that it's going to come together and stick together.
So you squish it together a little.
Yep.
Then you roll it into a ball.
So you can start rolling balls if you want, Cash.
And it's okay if some falls off. You can squish it together.
So you can squeeze. First thing you can do is squeeze it in your hand like this. You go squeeze, 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 and then it's kind of easier to roll. And see how
But
Polly...
it's fine if your hands get goopy and dirty.
Yep, that's just part of life in cooking.
You're absolutely
wash
right.
them after.
And you can always wash them. You can always wash them, and just if you have your sink nearby, you can do your dishes.
And
Stack
even
your
if you
dishes
see
up
like
as you go.
some fun stuff, even if you see like a fun big part in the bowl, it doesn't matter where you take your handful from, right?
Right, exactly. You can grab from any part in the bowl. And this recipe makes about 25.
It's not a contest of whose bowl is
Except
better.
this part.
Yeah, that's too tiny, I think. These are good
Way
size.
too
You can even
tiny.
make them a little bit smaller if you like. I'll show you. I'll make one a little tinier. These are great things for snacks to take, like when you're out for a walk. You can take them on a...
Or to school, even though we're not at school.
You could take them to
And
school
you
if
can
you make
also
them
add
without nuts.
chocolate chips.
That's true. You can add chocolate chips if you want
When
to.
you're done, you can push them in.
You can push them in if you like mini ones or big ones. We're not adding chocolate chips today, but you certainly could. There's cocoa powder in here to make them nice and chocolatey. We talked about doing that, but I think that we don't have them here today. So, but you can always add chocolate
But
chips.
that's just part of cooking. Sometimes you get what you get and you don't get upset.
And this is so much fun just to get right in here and get these rolled. And like Cash was saying, they're really good way to get energy because when you put
And it's
seeds,
okay if you get a little bit sad.
when you put seeds in something,
It's so funny.
when you put seeds in something, seeds give your body lots of great energy. So that's a nice thing. And the coconut in here makes the texture really
We're
nice
not
and
talking
chewy.
about that right now. Okay. We're not talking about people getting sad.
No.
Okay. You see this?
So how many are there, dude? Let's count. Cash, you want to count these and see how many we've made out of this recipe?
Okay. So there's 1 here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and always count one if there's one on the side. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 energy balls.
You have
Right.
18 apples.
And make sure maybe we should organize them a little bit because we don't want us to count one that we've already
And now
counted.
my hands are clean.
So I think
Like that.
also our muffins are probably almost ready to come out of the oven. because it's probably been almost 20
But
minutes.
people should wash their hands before they take it.
That's right. Look at our hands; they're pretty dirty. So
I just washed mine.
that's a good idea. And so you can see we made some of these energy bites a little bit bigger than others. So you probably would get about 20 or 25 if you made them a little bit smaller, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
You can make them as big as you like. And because they're not being baked, the size,
Except
they can
you
all be different
can't
sizes.
Take the whole.
Woo!
Except you can't take every part of the batter and make like a giant energy ball and put it on the tray.
That wouldn't work really.
Yeah, we'll just break.
Okay, I'm gonna wash my hands. And oh, there's the timer! Oh my gosh, this is perfect. Okay, so let me quickly
And
take.
our nan just got back with her baby sister.
Yeah.
I can see her the window. She's very cute.
Okay, let's check. Whoa, they're close. They're close. Okay, so I think these are almost ready, but not quite. So I'm going to spin them around, and I'm going to leave them in for another couple of minutes.
Yep. So,
Do you guys want to try an energy bite? Let's try them. Let's eat them.
yep.
I'm going to set it for another 3 minutes, so that we're.
Yeah.
Let's eat an energy bite.
And our Nana's back. She can come and watch us. Because we're doing work right now.
Okay, let's eat an energy bite.
Work. Okay.
They're really good. They taste very peanut buttery.
Yum, yum.
Really nice and peanut buttery. They kind of taste like a candy bar with peanut butter and honey in it. It's a great combination. Mm-hmm. What do you guys think? Good?
And it's okay if you don't see us eating the other snack.
Well,
and
much healthier than a candy bar.
if you want to stop, we'll see you on the next time.
Okay, I think the muffins are done. Let's get them out. So again, this is something you can get your adult to help you with. I'm using my oven mitts, and look at these beautiful muffins, you guys. So I'm just going to check and make sure that they're done by sticking in my little tester. And it comes out clean, which means there's no goopy batter left on it. You could check a couple of your muffins to make sure, but it looks good. And if they're round on the top, it's going to look good.
Okay, even if I said bye now, this is real goodbye. We'll see you maybe next week, whenever you watch your next video.
Yes, we'll see you for our next episode of Kids in the
Goodbye.
Kitchen.
Next episode every week. You can watch
Bye.
it when we're doing it.
Enjoy your snacks.
Bye-bye. Enjoy.